Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the Design Review Board public meeting of August 23rd, 2018 is called to order. Please refrain from talking among yourselves during the meeting. Please turn off or put on vibrate all cell phones at this time. If you need to talk, please leave the meeting room. Anyone who wishes to speak, including applicants, on any of the applications to be reviewed today or tonight, are asked to completely fill out one of the speaker cards provided at the table by the front door and submit it to staff. You will be asked to speak by the board when your case is called. Anyone who wishes to be re-noticed about a project in the event of a return for redesign decision by the board must completely fill out one of the postcards provided at the table by the front door and submit it to staff to receive notice of subsequent hearings. Current DRB agendas are available by visiting our website at www.glendaleca.gov. A handout describing the procedures for the meeting, possible board decisions, and DRB appeal is available from staff. This will be a roll call. Board Member Arzumanian.
Here.
Board Member Simonian.
Present.
Board Member Senlian.
Here.
Senlian, sorry. This is the report regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for this meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall at or before 5 p.m. on August 15th, 2018. To my knowledge, I'm not aware of any oral communications. Our chairman is out today, so we need to elect and nominate a chairman for our meeting tonight.
I make a motion to nominate Mr. Benlian as interim chair.
Seconded.
Roll call. Board Member Arzumanian.
Yes.
Mr. Simonian.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Benlian will be our chairman tonight. I'd like to point out one of our cases, which is the third one on the agenda, which is 4923 Boston Avenue. The applicant has requested that this case be continued to the DRB meeting of September 13th, 2018, without further public notice. Mr. Chairman?
Good. Let's proceed. So, first case, are we going with the sequence? PDR 1729332. Can we have a reading of staff's report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The property is located at 2030 McGinn Drive. The project site is 46,980 square foot irregularly shaped lot located on the south side of McGinn Drive between the end of McGinn Drive and Ganji Lane. Currently, there is an existing 2,293 square foot house with an attached garage, and the house was built in 1964. Because they're demolishing more than 50% of the combined roof and walls, per our zoning code, it's considered a demolition. The proposed work includes adding a 1,096 square feet to the first floor for a total of 3,389, as well as an interior remodel. They're also proposing to add a new second floor of 3,153 square feet. Currently, there's the two-car attached garage. They're proposing a new two-car attached garage and a one-car attached garage, which would include a vertical parking lift because they are required per code to have 4 parking spaces. They're proposing to also demolish the existing covered patio and construct a new 420 square foot accessory structure in the rear yard, or more like the side yard. They will also be demolishing the existing pond and constructing a new swimming pool, and they will be changing the style from mid-century ranch to modern style. The subject property is significantly larger than the average 12,188 square foot lot size in the neighborhood. The surrounding lot sizes range from 2,900 to 32,690 square feet. And the average house size is 2,899 square feet. The proposed house is 6,542 square feet, and then as mentioned, the 420 square foot accessory structure, which totals 6,962. So the proposed floor area is 0.15 for the proposed house. In terms of site planning, staff feels it is appropriate for the site. Although there is excessive paving in the street front setback by the driveway, and staff is recommending the amount of hardscape be reduced and drought-tolerant landscaping be added. Additionally, the design and materials of the front bench and gate were not provided, so staff is requesting additional details for that for the east side of the house. In terms of mass and scale, although the proposed house is large in comparison to other homes in the neighborhood, the appearance of mass as seen from the street is mitigated by the house being partially located below the street level and the second story stepping back from the first floor. And we feel that the design fits the varied style of homes within the neighborhood. In terms of design and detailing, we feel that it's appropriate, although that we're recommending that the white stucco color be more in keeping with the natural earth tones of the hillside and design guidelines. And we are also requesting that the paving material and documentation is on the drawings. So as I mentioned, staff is recommending approval with conditions as I had just mentioned. That's my presentation if you have any questions. Oh, we did receive one letter in opposition, which you have received.
Quick question for staff. Do we have a demo plan?
Well, we don't because they're going over the 50% and they're meeting all current code requirements.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question for staff. Staff mentioned that because of the size, it now requires 4 parking spaces. Refresh my memory, where is the cutoff between
I
the
believe
required
it's-
number of parking spots?
So below, if you're over 3,500, then you need 3. And then if it's 6,999, you need 4.
And what is the proposed?
Oh, wait. Is this okay?
Yeah, that's what, I'm not
Oh,
sure if
okay.
it's required to have 4.
It's required to have 3, I think.
No, it's pretty.
Might be a Mr. Collin question. All right.
I'd have to-
Well,
let me run.
if someone looks
Yeah.
it up at some point, but I believe required is 3. Okay.
Any other questions for staff?
Oh, yeah, I was.
We'll go ahead and
Yeah.
open the public. Open the public hearing and call the first speaker and the only speaker. I think it's Gene Baladian.
Good afternoon, Chairman. My name is Jean-Pierre Baladian. I'm the project manager and designer. Thank you, staff. We've been working on this project for more than a year, actually. And we've been going and coming to come up with the best solution to fit this almost 1 acre lot, which is very, as you look at it, the site plan is pretty wide, and it's kind of, you can notice it from the street because it kind of goes inside from the street. So the existing, if you notice the existing house, it's pretty linear, very narrow linear existing house. So what we're doing, we're keeping the existing footprint. We just widen it and going to story. And also after a few meetings with the staff, we decided to let go the infinity pool. We had initially proposed infinity pool facing the view, towards the view. We got rid of it to minimize the massiveness, I guess. We had problem with the height, meeting the height code with the slope. So we decided to let go the the pool and the entertainment center facing the view. So in lieu of that, we decided to modify and repair the existing pond that we have there to make the pool and propose entertainment room beside that, which is kind of, you cannot see it from the street. It's hidden. It's way below the street level. Even the house, it's pretty much lower. I'm sure you guys drove by, the existing house has a pitched roof, so basically we're chopping off the roof and adding the second story. So if you really look at it, we added to the height probably maybe 5 to 6 feet additional height to the overall from the existing. We're excited, and we're looking forward to move forward with this project. It's been a long time. And we don't have any issues with the staff recommendation. We'll work with them to meet to make them happy. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you.
Any questions for the designer?
No?
Thank you. Since he's the only speaker we have for the project, we can close the public hearing and start the deliberation. Mr. Simonian?
I'm sorry. I could
You wanna
answer
go
the
first?
question if you wanted. It's 4 spaces are required between 6,000 and 7,999 square feet.
And the proposed is how many square feet?
6,542.
I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I reviewed the design, and overall, it's well laid out. I think it was a good move, moving the swimming pool on a more linear basis and not adding to the mass. The overall orientation of the building, overall undulation of the facades, the glazing, the entryway, et cetera, I think are well done. Even the lift, the way you've incorporated, I don't think adds a lot to the site just because of the way it sits within the site. My only comments, I support staff's comments, by the way. My only thoughts were that the gray stucco, really, that kind of wraps around the building, it kind of begs itself to be maybe a different material. I always kind of look at buildings where it's full stucco and colors are being introduced as, at some point it might turn into, let's say, all white or whatever the issue is, and then all the undulation kind of goes away. And so I think with this kind of a contemporary building, usually when you have some sort of an eyebrow that pops out, especially with the shapes that you've created, some sort of a, metal siding or some sort of a different material altogether than the stuccos, keeping in the same gray color would certainly add to it. I also think that the stone veneer, with that kind of a warmer tone of the tan that you've picked, is a little more traditional in a sense, and it kind of could turn into something a little more contemporary and color-wise would be something more in line with the colors that you've chosen. So overall, I do think staff's comments about the color are a good idea in changing, and I would support introduction of another material for some of those accent pieces that are popping out. But besides that, well done, and I think it's a good design.
Thank you, Mr. Simonian. Mr. Simonian?
Thank you. Similar comments. I really like the design, the modern exterior. I think I'm with you, Mr. Simonian. Besides the color, maybe, yes, if there is a different material, that would be nicer. It will give the whole, the exterior building a nicer look, and obviously it will go better with the hillside design guidelines, hopefully. So I don't have any big issues. I agree with the staff comments and feedback, and I'm glad to hear that you're okay and you will work with them to make sure these are not concerns anymore. So, yeah, I'm in support.
Thank you. So I will keep my comments short as well. I agree with my colleagues here. I think it's a well-designed project. Even though it's above 6,000 square feet, when you look at the 3D rendering, it just looks smaller than that, and that's, I think, where the design beauty comes in, where the mass is broken up, different materials, different hues, and the undulation, like Mr. Simonian mentioned, it's well done. Materials picked is high-end materials, so that's well done too. Even, I totally agree for that gray piece, if it changes to a different material, even we've seen on this contemporary houses, sometimes they use wood or some of these like newer material. I think that's gonna add an extra dimension to the house, and it's gonna even help it further with the mass. And I'm in support of all the staff conditions, and I think this is a well-designed project. And again, like sometimes we see a lot of pushback from the community when you put a contemporary house someplace. This is like one house that I would say it's well done. So these are my comments.
For one clarification, when Mr. Simonian spoke about the stone veneer and warm tone, what was associated with that you were comfortable with the color of the stone? Is that what you were saying? I couldn't hear the tail end.
No, I support staff's condition.
Right.
And the applicant working with staff with the color palette.
Okay.
And the white changing to another color. I would like to add a condition, though, that the gray stucco
Right.
turn into a different material.
Okay.
And I think once that's done, the stone veneer that they've picked out, both in the design of the stone veneer itself and the color, would probably need to be revisited.
Okay.
And it could probably help if it's more of a contemporary veneer of some sort.
Okay. Thank you.
And also, I want to mention that we've reviewed the letter in opposition about this project, and I want to address the items. The person indicated they had 3 objections. The second and the third objection, second is talking about cars, more cars, so they're providing 4 parking spaces, so I don't think that's an issue. And the third item is the second-story blocking view. We don't have a view ordinance in Glendale, so that's not an issue for us as well. Number 1, which is the size of the house, this one, yes, it's larger than your typical house, but it's well done, and we've always emphasized here that we don't just look at the number. We look at the overall. We look at how it's laid, how it affects the surrounding houses. You know, we look at all these things and how the massing works. And as I mentioned before, how the massing works and how it's sitting today, we have no issues with it. These are our comments, so we can have maybe a read back of the conditions, and I'll entertain a motion after that.
The conditions will be as proposed in the staff report. Do you want me to read those again?
I think besides that, we were adding,
The other thing was
Yeah,
that
you can just read the added condition.
the new one will be to consider a new siding material. whether
not
it-
consider, it's a condition.
Or a condition that I guess it was consider whether it's metal or wood siding, where the gray stucco is currently shown. And when that material is selected, it may be necessary to also revisit the stone veneer that's currently shown so that that style and color also fits with the new siding material.
With that, I'll move to approve the project with the conditions as stated.
I second.
Roll call.
Board Member Simonian,
Yes?
Arzumanian,
Yes.
and Chair Benlian.
Yes.
The motion carries 3-0, approved with conditions.
Thank you. Next case we have, it's PDR 1809649. Can we have a reading of the staff condition, staff report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll approach the board to give a brief presentation.
No problem.
The next project before you proposes to demo a existing single-family residence constructed in 1923 and was altered in 1957, as you can see here in the survey or existing site plan. And the applicant's proposing to construct a new two-story single-family home that's approximately a little bit above 3,000 square feet with a detached 441 square foot garage. Just to go into the background of the property, it is located in the R1 zone, Florida District 1. The property is approximately 10,000 square feet. It's rectangular in size. It's generally flat and has a flat pad from the previous single-family home that was constructed in 1923. The property is located in a proposed historic district. A survey was conducted in 2004 of a previously proposed historic district, which was never designated. And that survey identified the existing house that's present there right now as 6Z, which is ineligible for a register. Because this is located within a proposed historic district, staff brought this to the Historic Preservation Commission previously in May 17th. Overall, for advisory to the Design Review Board, which we're bringing you tonight, they agreed with all staff 10's recommended conditions, and they added 2 of them. Some revisions were made by the applicant. Overall, there's a total of 6 conditions. So the applicant, as detailed in the report, they met several of the conditions that were recommended to you by the staff and the HPC. And I'll review that if you'd like at the end of my presentation before my recommendation to you folks. Quickly, just going over the site planning of the project. The project will have a generous street front setback, which is approximately 35 feet to the first level. It will have a detached garage, which continues the neighborhood's garage and driveway pattern. The landscape will be complementary to the design, the style, as well as the neighborhood, and will include BYRY's or Wukol's California-friendly landscaping. The overall mass and scale of the project, it will be at a maximum height of 27 feet. It will be consistent with the variety of mass and scales exhibited in the neighborhood. The second floor, which helps reduce the mass of the proposed building, will be approximately 50 feet because it will be further away from the first level over here. So it will be approximately 50 feet from the street front property line. The dwelling is designed to have highly articulated facades. It reduces the massing, and once again, it blends in with the neighborhood context. Quickly going over to design in detail, the neighborhood has a variety of styles, which they're exhibited as period revival, craftsman, minimal traditional ranch styles. The proposed style is like a neo-Spanish style, which is well designed, has appropriate materials such as fiberglass, recessed windows with precast sills, and it also has smooth stucco. Overall, staff recommends the approval for the project with 6 conditions. If you'd like, I can review them with you folks.
Can you please?
Absolutely. The first one, it's just the design and finish details for the fence and walls shall be complementary to the style of the building provided to staff prior to plan check. I know they're showing some walls around the perimeter, and there's some planter walls in the front. We're just asking for details. We can see it in the rendering or the renderings in the front here. And I should probably post that there as was on the title page of your packet. Number 2 is the front entry door is designed with a single door with solid side panels. So we're referencing this here. In lieu of the solid side panels that you see on both sides of the single door, staff is recommending side lights should be incorporated at the front entry to better coordinate with the architectural style of the building. The third one is double doors leading to bedroom number 4, which is identifying the front facade here. Staff is recommending that the double doors should be diminished and have a secondary appearance to the front entry. Number 4, redesign the front picture window over here. Once again, the front facade, to have a large single pane of glass without the muntins. Number 5, at the second level, staff was recommending 2-piece clay tile be used to reinforce the overall design and detail. I believe the applicant is proposing, it's a 1-piece boral tile. And number 6, and the last condition is just during plan check or prior to plan check, revised drawings to show gutters and downspouts on the elevations. And this concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. Yeah.
Which one of those 6 conditions was prescribed by the Historic Commission?
So 2 of them were prescribed by the HPC, which the applicant had met. The 2 of them were, and I'm going to read them verbatim, that the amount of hardscape at the front yard should be reduced and replaced with additional landscaping to soften the appearance of the property, that the front low planter wall parallel to the street front property line should be removed and further enhance the sense of openness into the street. So the previous plans that was presented before HBC, the applicant did have an additional planter wall along the front here and along the driveway, and they wanted to remove that, add more landscaping, just to open up the appearance from the street. And the second one, and they met that, and the staff feels that they've accomplished that. And the second one that HBC had recommended was that the opening should be added the south side of the covered front entry to enhance its articulation. So as we turn from the elevation from the front onto the south, the previous design of the front entry, it had a blank wall, and it had an appearance in it like a hallway going to the front entry. So to open up the appearance, add articulation. And the applicant did do that. So staff feels that they met that condition.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dennis, I have a quick question.
Sure.
The garage, what is the purpose of these doors on the other side?
Well, I guess we can ask that for the applicant. You know, how they propose the doors there. You could have side doors technically on a garage. Whether they plan on creating this in ADU, that's at their option. But as of right now, it can accommodate 2 cars, and it has garage doors, and that's how it's going to function. So.
And if we were to turn them into ADU, they would just have to have some covered parking. Is that it, or the new? Or
They don't have to have covered parking, but they do have to provide it on site, which could be on the garage. I'm sorry, on the driveway, which they have plenty of space here. The minimum dimensions is going to be 8 feet wide, 18 feet in length.
And there's one other issue in a historic district or a pending historic district. The garage needs to maintain its appearance as a garage, so they wouldn't be allowed to put an entry door or necessarily windows. They might be able to put windows in the garage door, but the idea is to, assuming that's going to turn into a wall rather than a garage door, it still needs to look like a garage door.
almost keep your garage door and then put a wall behind it.
It's happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We can open the public hearing and we'll have the applicant, Patrick Zorabian.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Zorabians, 3467 Ocean View Boulevard, Suite B, Glendale, California, 91208. I don't want to, reiterate everything Dennis did. I did want to touch on some of the conditions that he was speaking about that obviously we did not adhere to. I have spoken to the owner. We prefer it this way, but if the board feels it necessary for us to meet the other conditions, again, we don't have a major issue with it. I'll just go over some of them. Obviously, the design and finish detail for the fence wall. If you look on the rendering, all the fence walls and planter walls, they have the same smooth finish stucco. They have a precast cap on top, which obviously would match with the rest of the house. The double front entry doors, again, we did it with, we changed it to a single door with wood solid side panels. We're not opposing basically changing those to glass. We just preferred having them solid versus glass, but we felt like it looked actually a little odd with it in glass. The two major ones was basically the double doors leading from bedroom 4 out to the courtyard in the front. We did reduce the size and width. However, I felt like I wanted to keep the same storyline throughout the building. So I left the height exactly the same, which is 8 feet as all the other windows to maintain the storyline. But I did reduce the overall width of it. They were much larger before. So I think that kind of helped diminish it a little bit. The front picture window, I think since all the other windows pretty much have the muttons on it, I feel like the front picture window looks better with muttons on there. I feel like something that has, let's say, a full glass, no muttons in it, is more of like a mission Spanish style, and I think a lot of those have unique shapes to them. They're arched, or a lot of the ones that are square like that have a lot of muttons in them. Sometimes they even have little stained glass accents and stuff like that on the corners of them. So I think this generally looks better. What else? Yeah, the gutters and downspouts, obviously, we'll show them during plan check and stuff. That's fine. Any questions?
Question.
Yes, Mr. Simon.
In regards to the double doors of bedroom number 4, is your intent to keep them as a door as opposed to converting it to a window? Let's say in that case, the header height would still stay at that same 8 foot. However, they would not go all the way down, and they would turn into a window, let's say with a 3 foot or a 3'6" sill, and they would still be sliders and have that same kind of look, or a casement probably is better. But is your intent to keep it a door for programmatic purposes?
Yeah, so the owner is going to currently use that right now for the time being, mainly as like an office.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd like to have direct access to the courtyard out in front.
I see.
To be able to step out there without going through the hallway and out the front door.
Understood.
So we did want to keep them as doors, and I think aesthetic-wise, I think actually, we have a window on this side. I felt like you put a window on this side, it kind of makes it too symmetric. So.
And the window types, what was the window types?
They're Marvin Ultrex windows. They're wood on the inside, and then they have the Ultrex material, which is kind of like fiberglass, and they're pre-painted or colored.
I have no other
Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
We'll go ahead and close the. Anybody in the audience that want to speak? We'll go ahead and close the public, and we'll start deliberation. Let's start.
Again, on this house, I think it's very well designed. You've already gone through an extra step of going in front of the Historic Preservation Group, and so they made some good recommendations, which you, of course, have gone with. The overall design, layout, articulation, setback of the second story, etc., I think is well thought out and well designed. I asked specifically about that one condition pertaining to the double doors because I had a feeling, the owner wanted to use it as an office, in which case it does make sense for it to have access. If someone's coming, they could greet them from their number 1 or number 2, just be able to step out and have that connectivity. I think programmatically is important. And I don't think, although I do believe that making a window would probably make the building look better, however, programmatically, if it's that important for it to be an office, I could support it staying a double door. Insofar as the other condition with the bay window, I do also agree with some of the comments that you made. As far as the plain glass is concerned, I think it kind of works better sometimes when you have a 1-story. And so you kind of have that plain glass, larger window facing the street, and then the other windows end up having some munds, et cetera. But once you add a second story and then you have munds on the second story, then I think it would look odd, unless you just went with a very more of a contemporary look and you got rid of all the munds altogether. But then I would say then it would kind of be clashing with the overall neighborhood, which has a more traditional sense to it. So I do agree with some of the arguments that you made. And I would support the project with all the conditions as stated, except those two being struck, which I think we're all clear on.
Okay. Any other comments?
No?
Thank you, Mr. Simonian. Sarzumania.
Yeah. I have to agree with Mr. Simonian. Again, it's a well-designed project, so no issues there. And I do agree. I think if the door was turned into a window overall, it will look better. But again, if there is a functionality issue that you would prefer to leave it to door, I don't think that's an issue. And that condition can be, I guess you can modify it, and we need to take that out. Same comment with the number 4 about the window. I agree with your comments. I think you have good points. It's just, it looks better as it is, and it's just the exterior front and back, it just doesn't need any help as it is. So I have to agree with that. So I mainly agree with Mr. Simonian's point. So if we can take 3 and 4 out, then yeah, I can support.
Thank you. So, in terms of design, I think it's a well-designed project. It fits the neighborhood. I think the materials used are good materials. I think the overall mass and scale also works. The couple points that Simonian brought up, I think they're valid points, and to your point, probably, yeah, leave the buttons for the window. I'm okay with that. I think that looks better. And in terms of the door, I'm fine with it as well. It's a functional door, and it's going to make a difference for the person that's going to live there, so I'm okay with that as well. I think we're all on the same page in terms of the project, and was it number 3 and 4?
Yeah.
So we can strike conditions number 3 and 4, and I'm in support as well.
So do we have a motion?
I will move to approve the project with staff stated conditions. However, we would remove conditions number 3 and 4.
I second the motion.
Okay, this will be roll call. Board Member Arzamanian?
Yes.
Board Member Simonian?
Yes.
Mr. Chair Benlian?
Yes,
Motion carries 3-0.
thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have any minutes today?
We have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Adjourned.
We have no minutes, by